What's up, ladies and gentlemen, man? We back for another hit. It's your boy Exodus Fury, man. Exodus TV. It's been a little while, man. So we haven't had an opportunity to really get to you guys because we've been constructing this new look for you all, and we're so excited to be here right now, man. You don't know how much I've missed y'all, and I thank you guys for being down with me and for waiting and being patient. I've got a special guest today, 14-year friend. He's an amazing person, man. I've learned so much from this young man. We've gone through ups and downs together. I've known him since I was a young man, actually, and the relationship and the friendship, man, it's been so strong, and it's always good to have good, strong friends and a good support system. So, with no other further ado, I'd like to introduce to some and present to others my main man, LaDarrius Tank Jackson. What's up, baby boy? What's good?
Nothing much.
How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling excellent, to be honest with you. It's a pleasure to be back in this situation.
Yes, sir.
And to see how much you've elevated and grown, especially in these 14 years.
Man.
Back when you were telling me when I was a youngster about your dreams and visions, to see it manifest, I can't even find the words to tell you how proud I am of you.
Yes, sir.
Way to stay on the path, way to see it through, and way to, make your vision come to light. And I know that there's more to come outside of this, but right now I just want to give you your flowers and tell you that you've done an amazing job. You know what I mean? Especially through adversity and triumph. I'm proud to be here in this moment. I'm proud to be here in this arena.
Yes, sir.
Get this aura, get this vibe.
Yes, sir.
It's a beautiful thing.
Man, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you being here, man.
Of course,
taking time out of your precious time, because time is valuable these days.
Factual.
To come here. But I want to get down to this business.
Sure.
So, first of all, before I start anything, getting into the nitty gritty, because we got some nitty gritty. Mm-hmm. The first thing I want to ask you is, how has it been? What's new? What's been turning? What's been turning? Like, what's going on with Tank, man? How's everything been?
So I'll say this, per our last podcast session.
Right.
There's been a lot of changes.
Okay.
Okay. And there were things in the last podcast session that I watched over and over again, and I felt like that I need to clarify. Okay. Especially things that dealt with marriage and, different life lessons and all of that.
Okay.
But I felt like I spoke too soon on a lot of things, because in this time frame that's passed, I've got to go through a hell of a lot more.
Okay.
And learn a hell of a lot more lessons. Now, originally I called them losses, but they're actually just lessons.
Okay.
So I would say since the last time we talked, I was in a marriage, you know what I mean? Technically still legally am, but however we are separated and, moving on with our lives for the most part. One of the biggest things that I would say is this, last interview, last podcast, I was talking about how marriage is a business.
Okay.
I didn't realize that, my spouse at the time would have taken that as, that's all it is.
Okay.
Because I didn't mean it that way. I was just speaking on the infrastructure of marriage.
Gotcha.
It doesn't take a government to tell you that you love someone.
Correct. Correct.
It doesn't take a piece of paper to tell you that you love someone. Mm-hmm. What I was talking about was the business side of marriage.
Okay.
And when you go to the courthouse and you sign those documents, it creates a business entity between you and another individual.
Right.
Now, I felt like at the time it was misconstrued as that this is all about business. It's not all about business,
Right.
I am a firm believer in love. Mm-hmm. I'm a firm believer in commitment and struggle and all of that. So, long story short, in this time frame, I am like I said before, separated. One of the biggest lessons that I've learned in all of that was, marriage isn't about who's right and who's wrong.
Gotcha. Exactly.
Marriage is identifying the problem and coming together and figuring out the solution. And so many of us are traumatized prior to even being with someone, that when it comes down to conflict, we try to find the fault in each other instead of understanding that it's just a problem. Just like math, they're going to present a problem to you. It's up for you to find a solution. Now,
Right.
there are many ways to find a solution to the problem. However, when it comes to marriage, I feel like the only right solution is the solution that we arrive upon together.
Okay.
You're going to have a difference of opinion. I'm going to have a difference of opinion. You may have not done something this way, and I might do something another way. But at the end of the day, one thing that I love is the fact that we're supposed to arrive at the same destination. But that's also the caveat, because most of us don't arrive at that same destination.
That's right.
And I felt like the reason being is because of egos.
Okay. I can see that.
Factual.
I've
went through this. You've went through that.
Mm-hmm.
You were supposed to come into my life and be this way, and I was supposed to come into your life and be that way.
Mm-hmm.
But have we ever sat down and asked each other, why do we have that level of thinking?
Mm-hmm.
When we talk about being with someone, especially pledging a commitment for life with someone, the biggest thing is having to understand that the way that you're used to doing things have to change.
Right.
Because you have to adapt to the person.
It's a compromise.
It's a compromise, factual. Yeah. And I think that, going through everything that I've been through in regards of that, sometimes I learn things a little too late.
Well, what do you mean?
So I would say this. I spent a great deal of, being married, focusing on, trying to provide and trying to create a household.
Correct.
And I spent a lot of time picking apart my spouse.
Okay, so you're saying you spend a lot of time like picking apart your spouse as far as like basically what she's doing wrong, what she's doing right.
Correct.
Hey, what's going on here? This. The way that you perceive things should be.
Factual. And the reason being is because, I didn't grow up in that structured environment of having both parents in a household. Okay. So marriage was just a thought in my mind. Okay. And it was also just an image, especially living in the age of social media. Oh, this is what it's supposed to look like. But nobody's going back and telling you that before we took this picture and before we took this video, we argued.
There you go.
We had 50 different takes. We had 50 different tries. Mm-hmm. This was over the course of 3 days before we even got this right to give it to you.
Wow.
And I didn't understand that concept, you know what I mean? As well as I didn't understand how to read your woman.
Okay.
Because a lot of times as young men, we get into this thinking that as long as I provide, that's everything. But sometimes provision is not enough. Mm-hmm. I had to understand that, there's a thing called.
Hold on, so you're saying like you didn't understand how to read your woman.
Right.
Okay, can you expound on that for me?
So what I would say is this. I felt like as long as there was a roof over her head and the children's head, the lights was on, the water was on, people were eating, all of us was eating, there shouldn't be no complaint.
Gotcha.
But, in hindsight...
The big butt.
The big butt. In hindsight is there were intangibles that I didn't touch on anymore. And it wasn't that I didn't touch on those intangibles because I didn't want to. It was just being in the position that I was and being egotistical, I was tired. I felt personal, like I had to go out, battle the world, provide a living for y'all. everything that I need should just come natural because y'all got everything y'all need, but I didn't even understand that, sometimes it wasn't about the sex. It was about, hey, cuddle up with me, watch a movie. There were times where she probably wanted to watch a movie, I fell asleep. There were times where she probably wanted to go this place, that place, but I was just too tired. And dealing with the situation, like I come from a situation that I have PTSD. So
Right.
while I was going overseas trying to make a living, she was home.
Two totally different
Two
worlds.
totally different worlds. So
Wow.
her everyday life is bills is taken care of. She goes do what she needs to do. My everyday life was trying to figure out if I'm gonna live the next couple minutes, the next couple hours, the next day. So coming back home into that environment, I was always in a sheltered mentality because now I have to be protected. And I never could understand why you want to live life free. Because I'm living life closed off.
Gotcha.
Excuse me. Because I see the world in a different view than you see it. But I never once got to take the time to understand that this person is a full-time mother as well to 3 of my children.
And that is rough.
And it's rough. And
That's
it is
rough.
rough. And I felt like at the time I slightly understood, but not much as I understand now.
Right.
I didn't also understand that, the times that I was stateside and I would go take different trips, I didn't understand the detriment that me posting on Snapchat of a nice view, me smoking a cigar, or me chilling with the guys that I'm on mission with would have with the person that's back home trying to maintain home. Because my mentality was the finances are good.
Gotcha.
So you should be happy. I didn't understand the intangibles. So this person had to make a decision, and I'm not going to ever say that decision is easy. It's a decision that was made that I didn't want to be made because I didn't understand the severity of the situation, but she made the decision based off of how she felt. She put herself first, and I would never, ever look down upon her.
I really want to get into this podcast. There's some things we got to cover, man. Some things we got to talk about.
Of course.
So we're gonna title this podcast "After the Pain."
After the pain.
Okay. So when we're talking about after the pain, why would you, in any way, shape, form, or fashion, stay in the pain?
So, before I elaborate on that, shout out to Betty Wright for After the Pain. It's one of my favorite songs.
Okay.
To answer your question, the reason I would say stay in the pain is because of this. I grew up dealing with fitness majority of my life, and working out was an outlet. I'm 33. I've hit a point where I don't care to work out.
Understandable.
I don't care to work out. However my body is however it's going to be. For those who go through pain and choose the gym, I commend you. But this podcast today is about those who can't find the strength to go to the gym during the pain. And so this is why I say stay in the pain. Staying in the pain has taught me a lot of things that I probably would have never known had I chose to use an outlet to run. Had I chose to use an outlet to mask the pain. Staying in the pain for me means this. Allow all of your emotions to hit you.
Wow.
And I mean every last emotion to hit you. Allow it to hit you every second that it presents itself, every minute, every hour, every day, every week, every month. Staying in the pain taught me a lot. It taught me that no matter what, you're going to always go through something in life. But if you always got that fix, what are you really learning about yourself? If I always had an outlet and I chose that outlet, what did I learn? If everything that I went through, I had a way out of it, how did I grow?
Right.
This is the time in life where I had no way out of it. There's topics to discuss. 2023, I lost a 6-figure job. I lost a security clearance from the government. I lost a marriage. I lost my first business. I had my car repoed. I had to move out and start life all over again by myself, without my children. And the last, I lost my dad. December 15th, 2023. I lost 7 things that were big to me in less than a year. And there was not a thing that I could do about it. And there was not a thing that I wanted to do to help me cope. I had to stay in the pain.
Wow.
I had to sit in my new apartment with less than I had ever worked for and hear those walls talking to me. I had to go to bed alone. And mind you, I've been to sleep alone, especially living overseas, but it's different when you know that there's nobody
Right.
on the other end of that phone. Back then, there was somebody on the end of that phone. When I couldn't sleep, I could call home. But I can't call nobody. I had to stay in that pain. I had to be with myself. I stayed in the pain. And I loved that because when I used to have pain back in the gap, I used to hop on a contract, go overseas, make the money, and I'd be straight. I'd be whatever. But when that security clearance got taken, and I couldn't hop on that plane no more, when that security clearance got taken, and I couldn't get the jobs that I wanted no more, Allah made me stay in that pain. And I say Allah or God to whoever you are, whatever religious decree you are, said, I'm not going to allow you to escape this time. You got to feel this time. You got to bleed this time. You got to feel these lashes this time. There was no way to run. So I stayed in the pain. That gym that I used to love so much, I had no desire to go to it. No matter how many times I restarted that gym membership, I go the first day like, all right, fuck it, I done made it the first day. I'm finna hit it. I'm finna, ooh, you know. Second day, I may show up. Third day, I ain't there. Fourth day, I ain't there. 90th day, I ain't there. Because I had nothing to work towards.
Right.
The reason being is because I used to think that body goals was everything. I wanted to look a certain type of way. I wanted to be strong. I wanted to be cut up. I wanted to body build. But what I love about Allah was He broke me down and He showed me the truth. You don't give a fuck about none of that. Your personal image, for real, your personal image doesn't define who you are.
That's right.
Characteristically.
Correct.
And so therefore, I stayed in the pain. My boy, and I love my brother DJ. Like, my brother DJ sends me stuff on a daily about get your ass up and go to the gym. And I'm sorry if I don't need to cuss, but I'm just, you know. And I laugh at it, you know, because he knows how much I love being fit, this and that.
Right, right. We all do.
We all do. But truth be told, like, being in this situation, I don't got the energy for the gym. I don't want to go to the gym and look in these mirrors and see a has-been.
Well, can I ask you something?
Sure, go ahead.
And even before that, you said it has been. Is it so? This is how I'm seeing it now, and I want to know. I want to know this specific thing.
Sure.
Is it that you are cutting yourself from your actual heart desires because of the pain, or is it because you're realizing that those things never really mattered to you?
It's the second. They never really mattered. I was chasing those things because I wanted a different level of status. Okay. I was chasing those things because I felt like the world would love me on a different level if I embodied these type of characteristics.
Okay.
But what I realized was me searching for love in the world was me masking the need for love of self.
Okay.
So I had to allow myself to be out of that and love myself the way that I am.
Always.
Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, they provide a culture of toxicity to me, and I'm not against these platforms, but they allow people to post this and that, and people create pipe dreams based off of the things that they see. Mm-hmm. But what differentiated me from them was understanding that it could be body goals, it could be relationship goals, but realistically, this too far and it's too difficult for me to achieve based off of the things that I'm going through. And so for me to put that pressure on myself is not fair to who I am organically. Because organically, I'm a person that cares about people.
Right. Not so much self-endowed.
No.
More so about
all.
Who can I help? What can I do for who needs this?
Factual.
Not so self-centered.
Exactly. Or self-absorbed.
And you're right, because that's what we learned from a lot of these social media sites. And like I'm saying, like you said, I'm not against any of the social media sites, but they are basically created to gloat yourself, promote oneself.
Factual.
It's all about you. I don't get on social media. No one really gets on social media to talk about someone else. You're on there to talk about yourself. You're on there to do things for yourself, to make yourself look and feel better. Whether it's a fix to your pain, whether it's a mask to whatever it is you're going through, but self-endowment, self-center is what social media has taught us. Now, I'm not saying that that's necessarily what social media has taught us, but I can say the ones who do use it, that's how they're using it. If we had a world that used social media to help others, or to speak about others, or to help another person, or to do this and to do that for other people, it would be a whole different aspect of social media, making the awareness of people, the awareness of sanity, just the small issues of life, big issues of life that we deal with every day. But that's not the way we take it as a people. We don't use it as that. And if we did, would it still be there? Or would they be like, man, y'all not using this, so we want y'all to use it, so we're going to take it?
And I agree with the way that you view things. The issue is vanity. I'm not a person that is completely vain. I do take pride in the way that I look at times. But the way that I look does not convey to me that I need to look down upon someone who I feel is less fortunate.
Right.
I don't have the mentality that someone is inferior. Because I came from the bottom and I went to the top and I got put back down at the bottom. And currently I'm making my way back up from the bottom. The person that is standing on the corner of W.S. Young and Central Texas Expressway right now by the mall with a sign that says whatever for money I'll do, or the person that's on Clear Creek Road standing there with a sign, or the person that's on Fort Hood Road by the Wendy's and the old USAA and all of that. At the end of the day, I don't feel as if I'm better than these people. So when it comes down to social media, I may see some things that I like that open up my eyes about the potential of life.
Right. Right.
But I also understand that it's not a necessity. It's just a want. It's just a desire.
Correct.
If we take time to differentiate necessities and wants, we can live an easier life. Because now I'm in a position where I had the majority of the things that I wanted. And Allah allowed life to take me down to barely being afford the things that I wanted. And so now I'm in a situation where I have to live possibly check to check. But being in that, what I loved is being gifted the spirit of being humble.
Right.
So now that person with that sign, I don't view him as a panhandler.
There you go.
I don't. I view him as resourceful. I view her as resourceful.
Yeah, trying to use some resources to get
To
done
get
what
what you-
needs to get. That's right.
You're going to do something that
That's right.
I personally probably would never do.
Right.
It's hot as fuck in Texas.
It takes a lot to do that.
And it takes a lot to sit there at an intersection for God knows how long.
You're right.
In order to get the things that you want and the things that you desire. So what I would say is I am in a position where I had to be humbled. But I didn't be humbled because I had my nose up in the air. I had to be humbled to understand that, hey, you're asking for more and more and more and more, but you have not took the time to appreciate what I've given you along the way. And that's the difference of now.
Right.
I get to sit back and say, you know what? Today I may have came over here with not another dollar in my pocket. But my car note is paid. My lights are paid. My water is paid. My rent is paid. My kids, they ate the last couple of days that they've been with me. They were able to brush their teeth. They were able to take a bath. They were able to put on clothes. I got them to school because I had gas in my car.
Listen.
I'll take it even a step further. My car was repossessed yesterday.
Yesterday.
Hold on.
Hold on. Wait a minute now. Hold on. Yesterday.
Listen,
Come on.
I'm gonna tell you something
Come on
about
with it.
me. I don't fake it.
Come on with it.
I don't fake it. My car was repossessed yesterday, right? Now, they took my car probably between the hours of midnight and
Of course, you know they're gonna take it when they think
midnight
you
at
sleep.
4 a.m. Factual, niggas sleep.
Snakes.
I woke up, got my kids. Mind you, I got my kids with me. Got them ready for school, whoop-de-woo. I sent them out the door first because I'm just wrapping up the house before I walk out. I hit the goddamn remote start on my car. I don't think none of it. I said, hey, go get in the car. I done hit the remote start and I done hit the unlock button. It's just normal routine. My nigga said, Daddy, where's your car? When I tell you, soul crushed. Whoa, wait a minute.
Hold on now.
What the fuck you mean, where's my car? So I get out the apartment, jet out that bitch. Empty parking lot. Boom. Like, whole world shattered. Because that's the thing, you know. I had been behind for quite some time. But that night I had made a payment.
Hey. Go ahead, you good.
That night I had made a payment. The payment, their processing time. Cool, whatever. They sent the order. Motherfuckers came and got my car, right? So, mind you, owed me, I'm devastated. Devastated. Knew me, guess what I did? I said, you know what? Alhamdulillah, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. I gave my praises to Allah, which is literally another word for God. And I told Allah, make a way for me. Make a way for me. I'm tired of being your strong soldier. Just please, this one thing, just make a way for me. They took my car between 11 at night and 5 in the morning. By 2 p.m., guess what I had?
Your car?
My motherfucking car. I had my car back. I had my car back. And at the end of the day, it woke me up to something. I had been anticipating the day that they would take the car because I was just behind on my car.
You knew it.
I knew it. But it was just, I wasn't fucking off my money. I was just trying to survive. Mind you, like I said before, like, I'm newly separated. You know, I'm giving her money. And I ain't mad at her for that. She needs that. I'm going to make sure that she's good, my kids is good.
Right.
With what I can
That's
give.
what you're supposed to do. Anyway.
Factual.
So,
with what I can
you
give.
ain't fault in that. There's
yeah,
no fault
and
in that.
I never have heartburn towards it. But it put me behind. And I'm okay. I'm one person over here. I could be behind and
You
I'll
knew you
figure
had
out a way.
that. You knew
Factual.
you had that.
I knew it. So with that being said, you know what I mean? I sacrificed my well-being to make sure that their well-being was good. And I'm okay with that.
Any day of the week.
Any day of the fucking
Any day
week.
of the year.
Any day of the year. I'm
Sure.
okay with that. You know, sometimes it's stressful. Sometimes I might feel like, fuck. If I didn't have to do this and that, I could be this and that. But at the end of the day, Allah is a provider. So therefore, I just rely on Allah. I can't keep shouldering this shit by myself. I allow Allah to take what I can't hold no more. So, I put it in His hands. He granted me my car back. And guess what the lesson was? You no longer have to worry if a motherfucker's coming to take your car because you all caught up now.
There you go. There you go.
And so the other lesson is, don't get yourself behind no
There
more.
you go. There you go. There you
But
go.
the only reason I was behind because I had to just get a new place. But now that I've had this place for now 4 or 5 months, I have no reason to get behind. So at first, I could have said, you know what, Allah, I'm tired. I could have cursed God. I could have done all of that shit. But I was so glad that I had so much patience and peace that it showed me that, hey, I'm showing you something a little bit different. That car got taken. You have been worried about it. It got taken. You ain't got to worry about it no more. You caught up now because you done got it back. You caught up now. You winning. Don't you worry about nothing no more. Besides, now, when you move forward smarter now. And so guess what I do now? I got to move smarter. So back to what I was saying. Though this person chose the right path for themselves, it was never the wrong path for me. I did what I had to do while I had that time in this person's life.
Right.
I didn't make the right decisions always. I fucked up. I fucked up a lot. A lot.
Well, let me say this.
Sure.
I think that there's always. I think that there's. You good?
I'm sorry.
I think that swipe.
Hey,
It's so
spread out.
loud, right?
Swipe it, don't swipe me.
But there's always
yeah.
there's always meaning in the suffering. So,
It is.
And it's good once you can understand and identify the meaning, and you can get the meaning out of it when it's time to, and you understand, and then you therefore move forward into something different. You move a little different. You do something a little different because, like you said earlier, everything is a lesson to be learned. So I do want to ask you this.
Sure.
And with saying that, I wanted to ask you. You said you took 7 losses. I mean, you lost your pops, you lost your 7-figure income, you lost your security clearance.
Yep.
You lost your marriage.
Yeah, I lost my business.
And then you have to start all your business. You have to start all over again. You know, even your business. During the suffering, during the pain, what has helped, and what hasn't?
All right. So,
You can start with either or.
excuse me, real quick. I'm glad you asked because most people, I ain't gonna say most, but a percentage of people would say when they go through shit, they go to the gym and they work it off.
Right.
I'ma run, I'ma work it off. I'ma fuck it off. Meaning I'ma surround myself with all these chicks and
There it goes.
we finna have sex and,
There it
you know,
goes.
like all this other shit. I'll be honest with you, bro. There was a myriad of those type of options that I tried, and I never got satisfaction from none of it. You know, I sat in my house, and I ate what I wanted, I drank what I wanted, I smoked how much I wanted to smoke, even to this day. What helped was this. I gave myself grace. I said, hey, you've been a provider for 9 years. Hey, you've been into fitness your whole life. Hey, you've made money your whole life. Hey, you've been able to change someone else's life and provide for your kids. I gave myself grace. It's okay to take the back seat now. You don't gotta be the breadwinner. You ain't gotta chase the bag no more. It's okay to struggle. It's okay to live paycheck to paycheck now. Because living in that situation, I understood that I was still in the 5% of Americans. And not just 5% of Americans, but I was in a top percentage of the world. When I started to look at what the world goes through, and I understood that the shit that I'm sitting here crying over, mad over, the world didn't even get more than 90% of the world don't even get a chance to experience.
Wow.
Blew my fucking mind open.
Wow.
When we talk about people in Gaza, when we talk about people in Palestine, when we talk about people in bumfuck Egypt, and no offense to Egypt, but it's just a term that we use in America to say that it's the sticks. When we talk about people that don't live nowhere close to what we live or the lifestyles that we live, I shut the fuck up. I shut the fuck up.
Damn.
Because I've traveled the world and I've seen it firsthand. I see what poverty in the East look like versus poverty in the West. I see it. So at the end of the day, I had to stay through the pain because at the end of the day, bro, like, nah, there's somebody out there that got it worse than me.
Right.
So I stayed in it. I could have hustled and tattooed. You know I used to tattoo. I could have done that.
Oh, yeah.
I could have reverted back to my younger days when I sold weed and made an income. I didn't care to do that. I could have got another job and a third job to get out of that, to get out of what I go through, to get out of living check to check. I could have done all of that. But Allah said, no, you sit. I'm going to take the avenues that you know you can get out of, and I'm going to close them. That's why I lost the security clearance. I lost the security clearance because of financial shit. Mm-hmm. The government took that away from me because of financial shit. I lost a marriage because of slight infidelity.
He says slight.
Slight. And the reason I say slight.
What is slight infidelity? Please enlighten me on slight infidelity. Sure. It's just slight, though.
No, it's not just slight,
it's
though.
Slight.
And I don't mean it that way. What I'm saying is this. I wasn't the most innocent person inside of a marriage.
Okay.
But I will say that 50% of my battle was someone battling their mind. But the other 50% was I never gave that reassurance to that person. So this is why I say slight infidelity. Though things may have not been what they appeared to be, I never gave that reassurance that they wasn't what they were.
So explain to me more about embracing the ugliness.
So like I was saying, you know, just going through these situations, you know what I mean? Like, I had to realize that there was nothing that I could think of that I used to use that could help me embrace the ugliness of everything that I was going through. I was in a situation where I had to be sat down. The things that I could possibly turn to get me out of it, I no longer had those as options. Okay. Now, granted, the only option I did have was fitness, but I had no desire to be fit. You know what I mean? I had no desire to do meal prepping and working out and none of that, you know what I mean? So I had to sit the fuck down. And so when I sat the fuck down, I had to just embrace the ugliness of it all. There were going to be days where I had to smoke and drink and, you know what I mean, and not think. And I didn't persecute or beat myself up for that. If I felt like drinking that day, I drank that day.
Right.
If I felt like smoking that day, I smoked that day. And even if it were things that, you know what I mean, not to go back into this, but just the last portion of this, even if drinking and smoking was a problem that I had inside of the marriage, like, it didn't matter to me no more. I'm going to do what the fuck I need to do in order to feel the slightest smidge of normalcy. Whatever felt like it was cool to me, I just did. And it wasn't no longer about how anybody else perceived it or felt about it. This is just what I needed to cope. And so, you know, fast forward into life, those are things that, you know, even to this day, I may, from the outside in, struggle with, but for myself, I manage it pretty well. You know, it may not be the healthiest choice or healthiest decision that society wants me to make, but I'm in a position to now where I no longer make decisions based off of what society wants.
Right.
I make decisions based off of what I actually want.
Right.
And even with those decisions, I understand that it may not be something that's favorable to my ex or my next. It's favorable to me. And for the first time in life, I'm in a position to say that I'm going to make decisions that I want to do. And if these are the things that bring me joy, peace, comfort, these are the things that I'm going to do.
Gotcha.
And I no longer feel bad about that because I've sacrificed a lot of years of my life trying to make sure that other people benefited from that. They were comfortable. But in the end, what I learned was it was never good enough. So now I'm in a position to say that it's as good as it is for me in this particular point. I'm not going to say that it's as good as it gets, but right now, if these are the things that I choose, then I'm going to be okay and happy with that. These are the choices that I make.
Right.
You know? So
you should be.
Yeah. So moving forward, you know what I mean?
After it all, so after everything, what's next? Like, what's forward? What's the future?
So, in order to answer that question, I can honestly tell you, I don't know. And the reason I say I don't know is, losing a father, losing a business, losing a six-figure job, losing a marriage, losing your car, losing yourself. Like, there were a lot of losses, but technically lessons. I can't say to you what's next because I'm not in the mentality to decide what's next. I've been in these situations, and the biggest things that I've learned is Allah decides what's next. God decides what's next. Because it was God that put me in a position to be humbled. So who am I to decide how to get out of it?
Right.
I can't. Because if it was up to me, I would have never lost anything that I lost. So I can't tell you what's next, but I can tell you this.
What can you tell me, big dog?
That through everything that I've been through, a great percentage of people would quit.
Right.
And what I say is they kill themselves. They give up on life. I ain't in a position to judge that decision making, but I didn't do that. So with me not doing that, I had the understanding that there's something higher than myself that's guiding this path. There's things that I've done that requires karmic debt. And I've had to go through that. And so until that higher entity that's above me feels that I've made my retribution, that I've canceled out karmic debt, until that being, which as for me, I classify as Allah, Subhana Watu Allah, when he feels that I've made that peace, then I've made that peace. But until then, I'm going to stand 10 toes down and go through
Always.
what it is that I got to go through in order to get where I have to be. I stopped praying for strength. I don't want to be the strongest soldier no more. I stopped praying for peace. I just pray to be one with Allah, His guidance, and the universal order. So to lose everything that I've lost within a year's time frame, and not to fail to mention, my dad's brother is on life support right now.
Sorry to hear that.
My favorite uncle is on life support right now. And Alhamdulillah, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, may Allah see him through. Even if it turns out the way that I don't want it to turn out, I have to say Allah Akbar. Because at the end of the day, it's just blessings to God, period. Period. So my future is not determined by me. I pray to my God and I let my God know the things that I want and the things that I desire. And if it's in my God's will, He will place it inside of my life. But it is no longer my job to try to figure it out. I will do everything that I can in regards to my relationship with mankind and human beings to make sure that I do not wrong another man or woman, hell, a cat, a dog, my children. And whatever Allah sees fit to bless me with is what He blesses me with.
Right.
And anything that doesn't come with that, I have made peace that is not designed for me. So what I would say is this. Everything that people go through, stop trying to take the fastest way out of it. Sometimes you have to sit in the pain in order to be able to tell anyone about after the pain.
Okay.
You gotta go through it.
Don't run from it, right?
Don't run from it, and don't be scared. Chin up, chest out, hit it. And there's going to be times where you're going to slam into this brick wall. But I promise you, you keep slamming into that brick wall, every time you slam, a piece of that brick breaks. Until finally, that last time you slam into that brick wall, you get that breakthrough. Don't you quit. Don't you stop. I can't tell you to eat right. I can't tell you to go work out. I can't tell you to do cardio. I can't tell you to listen to positive affirmations. I can't even tell you to pray. Because these are things that at some point in time in life, I could not do. I had to sit in it. There were times I couldn't make my surahs. I couldn't pray 5 times a day. There were times where I couldn't follow a diet. There were times where I couldn't stop drinking. There were times I couldn't stop smoking. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that there's a certain particular way that you got to use to approach all of this. All I'm going to tell you is this: never give up. And everything that you do that may seem counterproductive, if that's what it takes to make it through, keep doing it. Keep doing it. And I'm not an advocate for the wrong lifestyle, but I'm an advocate for continue to do what you got to do in order to survive until something is put inside your spirit that gives you truth, light, purpose, and meaning. And that's why I started to adopt Islam. You know, it gave me that. And I ain't the most perfect Muslim. I'm just starting my journey. Just started my journey. But at the end of the day, I found peace in knowing that Allah loves me. Allah is here for me and provides that guidance. I no longer rely on social media to give me anything that I need. I don't rely on, what's his name? Truth Trump, whatever his name is. No offense to him, because I actually fuck with him. Light-skinned brother with the beard that be on tonight's conversations. I fuck with that whole panel. But I no longer put myself in a position to allow them to inflict their viewpoints on relationships and all that into my mind. For me, in my life, it's about my walk with God, and it's about my intelligence. There's always going to be things that I need to learn. But I have the hunger to learn, so I'll go search for those things. But a lot of things that I know only come through experience. And a lot of things that people go through, it's only going to come through experience.
Right.
Quit trying to rush the process. Sit in the pain. Excuse me. Because if you sit in the pain, only then, like I said before, will you know what it feels like after the pain. After the pain. But you gotta go through it. And don't be scared. Go through it. That person broke your heart. Ride. Ride. You made the wrong decision with your finances. Ride. Ride. Because like they always say, behind every dark cloud is a silver lining. That storm might wage war all night long, but I promise you that in the morning the sun gonna shine. And even if that sun don't shine directly where you at, you have to understand that that sun is shining somewhere else. The skies is blue everywhere else. When it rains in Texas, it don't mean that it rains in the whole world.
Right.
So if you got to take your mind out of Texas and put yourself in Bali, Dubai, Qatar, Kuwait, wherever the goddamn sun shines, if you got to put your mind there, put your mind there. Put your mind there, because it all takes mental fortitude. I never made all the right decisions, but I ain't going to beat myself up for the rest of my life that I didn't make the right decisions. Never going to do that. I wasn't perfect. I didn't need to be perfect. So at the end of the day, after the pain, understands that it comes joy. You have to express gratitude. And I don't care what God you believe in. Express gratitude for the smallest shit.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know? So that's what I have to say to the people today. You ain't gonna get it right with meal prepping. You ain't gonna get it right with benching.
You gotta go through that.
You
thing,
gotta go
man.
through it.
You gotta don't be scared to go
Don't
through
be
it.
scared to go through it.
And when you go through it, learn something.
And
Be better. Do better.
talk
Know
to the
better.
people in your circle. Communicate.
Right.
And if they can't get it, find a way. And even if they can't get it after that, then sometimes it just ain't meant for them to understand it. But don't you fucking quit. Don't you give up. Don't you take your life. I've thought about it all. Don't you take your life. Because it's always going to be a positive around the corner. We may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. And that's my word to all of y'all.
Man, great word. Hey, ladies and gentlemen,
Factual.
thank y'all for tuning in to really our first episode of this new establishment that we got. We got a whole lot more coming to you guys very soon. Thank you for tuning in. Keep tuning in. Do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more exclusive content. And we're going to see y'all in the next one. It's Tank Q in the building.
Alhamdulillah.
It's your boy
Ar-Rahman.
My
Ar-Rahim.
man E-Man on the camera. You already know what it is.
Factual.
Shout out to Lossless City.
Later.
Lates.